having been here last Tuesday for the vocal music concert. We have tonight a phenomenal instrumental music concert. We had the privilege of listening to them this afternoon, and it was absolutely amazing. The soloists that you are going to hear tonight, I have to give them some attention because not only were they up in front of an entire audience of students, which is bad enough, and they'll be a little nervous standing up in front of all of you as well, but the kids didn't quite understand that when you sing along, although that's really exciting that they recognize the tune, sometimes the kids went a little faster or a little slower, or when they sang Rudolph, they added all the extra lines. And I tell you, the trumpet player just kept right on going, despite hearing, reindeer games like Monopoly. But he was able to pull it off and did a really nice job. They are so incredibly talented, which I know that you all are aware of, and we are so glad that so many of them have chosen to participate in the instrumental music program. So tonight you will see the orchestra, as you know, followed by a few soloists in between, and then we will have the steel drum band. You will not have to suffer through the faculty band like the kids did today. Believe me, you're going to thank me later. And then finally, we will finish with the band. So I am going to turn it over to Ms. Freeberger now. The students are ready to begin, and we hope you enjoy tonight's selections. Thank you.
All right, good evening. As Ms. Halleck said, my name is Jackie Freeberger, and I am the instrumental teacher here at Stoneleigh. Thank you all so much for coming out tonight. Even the standing room only section all the way in the back there. We're working on that because they're just so popular around here. Up first is our 5th grade orchestra. This is the largest orchestra we have ever had here at Stoneleigh. I was telling our administration when we were at Stoneleigh at Carver a couple years ago, I had 5 violin players total and an orchestra of 20. This year I have 20 violins and an orchestra of 46, which is super fantastic. So, beautiful, gorgeous beginning sound for our string players. Our first song we're going to play for you is Jolly Old St. Nicholas, and this is a 4-part harmony song, so I hope you enjoy. I'm going to give you an opportunity to wave to your child. We're going to introduce the different sections of the orchestra. There are 4 string instruments that make up our Stoneleigh Orchestra. The first one is our violin. So I have all of my violin players stand and wave hi everyone. Hi everybody. As many of you know, violin is the highest sounding instrument in the orchestra. They often play our medley line. We're going to go ahead, melody. I promise I know what I'm talking about. We're going to go ahead and play our violin, play our high E. Up next are our viola players. This is where the big scholarship money is. Our violas are slightly larger than our violins. They read something called the alto clef, and even though they look just like a violin, they're slightly lower, and they're always in high demand. So, our viola players, if I could have you guys please stand and wave hi to everybody. It worked out perfectly this year that I have 14 viola players and I have the exact same number of boys and girls. So we have a viola girl group and a viola boy group, which works out great. All the kids are excited. So, violas, if you could play me your lowest string. Beautiful rich sound. Go ahead and sing it. Next up are our cello players, and as you know, if you're a parent of a cello player, it's significantly larger than the violin and viola. So they're going to stay sitting down and they're going to wave to you from their seats. Wave hi, cellos. Now, our cellos are the overgrown violins of the orchestra, which means they're also going to be getting much lower. Cellos, if I can hear your lowest now. I told them in full rehearsal to warn them that during the school performance, little kids love low sounds. And I'm like, I know you're just playing one note, but the kids are going to get really excited. And sure enough today, I'm like, here's our cellos. And they're like, whoa, and all the little ones are like, whoa. I don't understand what's so cool, but whatever. Next up are our bass players. You have one of those in your living room, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Bassists, go ahead and say hi to everybody. One of these days, they will be the same size as their instrument, but not yet. So bassists, go ahead and play us your lowest note. Whoa, low notes, right? Excellent, thank you guys so much. All right, up next, because tonight is the first night of Hanukkah, we will be playing dreidel. All of my little friends right in the front to slide back just a hair for me. We have some students who are working independently on some solos and duets and trios and yada yada to prepare for this concert. Our first up is Miss Ellie Townsend, and she is one of our lovely violin players. Come on up, sweetie. And she learned to play Amazing Grace all on her own by ear on her violin. So here's Ellie with Amazing Grace. Next on violin as well is Miss Mary Durgan, and from her Suzuki book, she will be playing May Song. Excellent. Next up is Miss Layla Hurley on her violin as well, and she will be playing This Land Is Your Land, which she also figured out by ear. Next up, again, still sitting down, is Miss Allie Zellerhoff here. She's our second cello player in, and she will be playing from her Suzuki book. She will be playing French folk song. unfortunately have just been notified that Mr. Gus Moylan does not have his music tonight, so you're going to have to save good God rest you merry gentlemen for the spring. So we'll make sure we get that for you guys then. Up next, from our 4th grade, we have Mr. Jonah Malcolm on piano, and he is going to be playing one of the selections by Liszt. I also have a new recipient for Mom of the Year award. Gus's music just arrived. So here is Gus Moylan, and he will be playing God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. Gus came in and he goes, Ms. Freeberg, I really want to play God Rest You Merry John. I was like, Gus, it's hard, don't worry about it, we'll do it next time. He's like, no, I really want to play it. And sure enough, he printed it offline and he came in and he goes, this is how it sounds, right? I was like, yeah! So, excellent job, Gus. Up next from our soloists, this is our last solo, or duo, I should say, are Anna and Michael Stamatos. We have violin and cello here in the front. Oh, I skipped a group, oh my goodness. Rewind everything I just said. Up next is our viola girls. If I can have all my viola girls make their way up. The viola girls have been working independently Up on the Housetop, and so we have a 3-part harmony of Up on the Housetop from our viola girls.
Yeah, you guys got it.
Now where I was before. Up next is Anna and Michael Stamatos, our twin string players in the front row. Anna and Michael are part of a group outside of school called the Baltimore Youth Symphony Orchestra, which is a group that practices and performs with some of the best beginning string players in the area. So they're going to play a piece from their concert that just happened on Sunday. This is Fiddle Like the Dickens, and just like I said to the kids, wait for you to hold your applause until you see me applaud, because there's a couple spots in the middle where they stop and turn pages. So you'll hear a lot of really traditional carols, and this is Fiddle Like the Dickens from Anna and Michael Stamatos. incredibly lucky here at Stoneleigh to have the most musical students anywhere. I am going to brag for just a minute. There are, I know there's some in here, there were 7 Baltimore County students who made the All-State Band, which is for 7th through 12th grade. There were 7 in the middle school group that made it from Baltimore County from 7th through 9th grade. Of those 7, 5 of them are Stoneleigh alumni, which is pretty awesome. One of them is sitting right here as Luke Benji and Pettit. So Luke, say hi to everybody. You're one of the 7 who made the cover. There were also many in the high school group that also made it. And it's pretty cool because we have Stoneleigh students who have made it into the band, the orchestra, and the choir, which is really awesome. The middle school concert was on Saturday for all county, and I had a chance, if you follow Stoneleigh Music on Twitter or on Facebook, you would have seen the picture of all of the Stoneleigh alumni who were participating and selected for these top groups. So just wait for 2 or 3 more years, and you're going to hear all of your kids going after those same things, which is super exciting. Our last song is a very challenging piece. This is based off Ukrainian Bell Carol. This is Ring Christmas Bells from our 5th grade orchestra. Thank you so much. already feels like the Caribbean in here, and I didn't want a kid to drop wearing their white and their black and their Hawaiian shirt. So imagine that's a tropical attire right now. It should be in my pocket. fifth grade band. As you can see, they're massive and they sound that way too. It's pretty awesome. This is a really cool time of year, and the reason elementary schools do a winter concert is so you guys can hear that one instrument that you've been listening to at home since September that is slowly getting better. All of a sudden you're like, wow, that's really cool, putting it all together. So it's a really, really nice feature. Up first is going to be a piece called Fanfare on Ode to Joy. So it'll be taking our traditional Ode to Joy medley and melody. Our traditional Ode to Joy melody and adding a cool fanfare with it. So here's the band with Fanfare on Ode to Joy. Of our instruments. Feel free to take a picture from your seats if you would like. Up first is our flute section. I have lots of flutes this year. All my flutes can please stand and wave hi to everybody. Flute is definitely one of the hardest instruments to start as a beginning player because their first three notes go from having a couple fingers, even less fingers, to all of their fingers, and it's very, very challenging. And this group has done a fantastic job. If all of my flutes could please play me a B flat, here we go, guys. Up next are the oboe players, and we only have 3 oboe players, and we talked about this earlier. They sound like ducks, and they accept it. It's okay. If my oboe players could please stand for me. Now, I have wonderful oboe players this year. Oboes are doubly, and my oboes are going to play their B flat for you. Here we go. Excellent. Wonderful, wonderful. Up next are the clarinet players. Tons of clarinets again this year. Clarinets, go ahead and stand up for me. So many of them. Clarinet's one of our single reed instruments, in which the 4th graders get a chance to learn in exploratory music, which is pretty cool. Clarinets, go ahead and play in your seat. Up next from our woodwind section is my all-boy saxophone section. If I could have all my boy saxophones stand up and wave hi to everybody. All right, boys, go ahead and play them your G. All right, from our brass family, we have our trumpet players. If I can have all of the trumpets please stand and wave hi to everybody. Trumpets are the highest member of our brass family. Trumpets, if you could play your C for me. Very nice, have a seat. Excellent, if I can have my trombones, please stand up. Trombones, wave hi to everybody. So our trombones get into what we call our low brass family. Trombones, if you could play me your B flat. Here we go. Ready? Good. And the cool thing about being a trombone player is that you can do this. Yay. Next up are our baritone euphonium section. If I can have everybody stand and hold those instruments up, they're pretty big. We're starting to get significantly larger. Good. I'm going to let them sit down when they play because they're kind of heavy. So go ahead and sit down, guys. Go ahead and play them your B flat. And our last one sitting down, I forgot about you, are our tuba players. So tuba players are about the same size as their instrument, just like our basses. Tubas, go ahead and try to stand up and hold those things and show everybody. They will also grow into their instruments as well. For some, my best tuba players are always like 4, 7, and under. So it works out really well. It's great. Tubas, can I hear your low B flat? And last but not least are our percussion players over here. Percussionists learn a variety of instruments when they're in bands. So we have our bass drum, we have our snare drum, we have our sleigh bells, we have a triangle, we have the crash cymbals, and we have our mallet instrument. Good, so these students get a chance to work on all of them. They spend most of their time on mallets reading music, but they do get to play all of the other instruments, which is excellent. So we'll give a round of applause for our percussionists. Alright, we have a couple quick solos for you. Up first is Miss Madeline Anson on clarinet. Madeline came in very early in the year, and I'm getting warmed up and they're getting going, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I know that song. So Madeline on her own went home and learned Glad You Came by The Wanted by listening to the radio. So here's Madeline with Glad You Came. We have Mr. Max Rimlinger, who will be playing a piece written by Mr. Max Rimlinger. He has written a spy theme on his bell set, so this is Max. So look in a couple of years, see him on some movie soundtrack. So up next we have Mr. Nathan Latosha, and he will be playing Hedwig's theme from Harry Potter on his bells. the third trumpet player in a line of trumpet playing boys. And Dan is going to be playing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Play solos or do anything special, but if you notice, I have a couple really tall 5th graders sitting in my band today. On flute, I have our new assistant principal, Mrs. Amy Malinowski. On clarinet, I have our new principal, Mrs. Heather Hollenbeck. And teachers hide from me that they play instruments most of the time because they know I'm going to recruit them. So I just found out the other day that Mr. Holden plays the baritone. So Mr. Holden joined us today on the baritone. Mrs. Howard played this morning on trumpet, and Mrs. Ortiz plays violin, and Mrs. Cordasco plays flute. And every holiday party I find another one of them. So we'll see who joins us for the spring. Up last is Santa's in the House. This is a medley of Up on the Housetop, Jolly Old St. Nicholas, finished with a Jingle Bells. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much again for coming. Here is our 5th grade band on their last tune, Santa's in the House. fantastic that these children have only been playing for 3 months, isn't it? Can I have one more round of applause for all of our 5th grade performers? Thank you again to everyone for coming. We will definitely see you in the spring where they're going to be even better. they already are. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. If you can give us 1 minute, I'm going to get all the students out just like at the vocal concert last night. Get them packed up and we'll meet you in the hallway. If you don't mind taking the chair that you're sitting on and headed that direction, that would save our custodial staff a lot. Thank you again so much for